Okay. Yep. This one is for Mr. Von Helton because I told him I was going to be making me a video just because he likes to keep my name in his mouth. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. Now, I do believe the video where Vaughn decided to throw my name out there was taken down due to a strike. But I saw it, so as per my particular code of ethics demands, I go ahead and respond like I told him I was going to, anyways. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and pick on him just a little bit more about the video that, let's see here. Hey, Blue, how are we doing? Twisted Skeptic. There it is. Okay. And share audio. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do this one. Since I don't feel like giving Vaughn the view, we'll pull it off of Schneider Handymans.
Well, folks, I'm back again. This time, I'm not a white supremacist. This time, I'm a racist.
Yeah, Vaughn, most white supremacists are, in fact, racist.
I'm a fucking racist. I'm trying to figure out how I can be racist and be 65% Cherokee Indian and the rest white.
Because you're not. We've already seen your ancestry.
I'm trying to figure that out because as a mixed race individual, does that mean I hate myself? I mean, one would think, right? I mean, if I'm racist, that means I gotta hate myself, right? Because I'm mixed race, right? Yeah. But yeah, I've got proof. Once again, I've got proof that I'm the racist. I'm just a racist motherfucker, man. I'm just horrible. I'm evil, and we're gonna find out just how evil I am. It's gonna be glorious. It's gonna be stupendous. We're gonna hear it straight from the horse's mouth that I'm the racist piece of shit that ever walked the fucking earth, man. Yep. So without further ado, let's get into it.
No.
And you're listening to all the stuff around you and you're saying dumb stuff, that's one thing. You know, if you continue doing it as you turn into an adult and you start learning, then you might just be a racist. You know what I mean? Like if your family's racist and you grow up and you still agree with them, then you're racist too. Don't just be like, oh, I have a black friend, so I'm not racist. No, you're still, you haven't changed all the way yet.
You know, I have more respect for like a guy that just, I'm racist, I hate black people, versus those ones that like smile about your face and like, you know, try to stab you in the back with a, like I used to, you know, I had a black boyfriend. I'm not racist. I told my wife, like, those are the worst. They will fucking try to destroy you, they'll try to ruin your life. You know? Like,
they're the worst people because they'll smile in your face. They'll buy you a drink. They'll treat you like, they'll even put you on a pedestal, especially when their other white friends are around. Because look, I have a black one. Yeah, hey, you know, and at the end of the day, they're going to treat you like shit behind your back. You are the lowest thing. You don't deserve kindness. You don't deserve, you know, humanity. And that's what I don't like.
Alrighty, folks. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth that I'm the most racist piece of shit. I mean, think about it, man. I got 3 black girlfriends, 3 Asian girlfriends, and a Latino girlfriend. Holy fuck, man. I must really be a racist motherfucker, right?
Okay, so we're going to stop it right there. Now, Vaughn, since you seem to have a lot more respect for video games than you do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and have a buddy of mine share this with you. Or at least start. Let's see here. There we go. You might get a kick out of this one. Yeah, there's a buddy of mine. His name's Scooter. Okay, and he's got something to explain before I actually get started.
I see your problem, and I'm gonna take this slow so you can understand. All right?
Okay, that's all we needed from Scooter. Thank you. Okay, so Vaughn, the problem with you reacting that way shows how racist you are, because they were literally saying if you react to an accusation of racism with I can't be racist. I have a black girlfriend or a black, husband, whatever. Okay. That shows you how racist you are. And what did you do? You jumped head first into that wall, showing you exactly how racist you are. Okay. So the appropriate response for that is to not get offended by it, first of all. Okay. I've been called racist. I do not look at my relationships in that way. I have dated outside of my race. I'm a mutt, so it's really hard for me to date inside my race, but still. Okay. The reaction that you gave was the exact indicator of why everyone on YouTube considers you racist. So I'm hoping I'm explaining this clearly enough to you. I'm hoping I'm explaining this slowly enough. That way you don't mischaracterize what I just said. Okay, we'll get back into it because there was another thing that you decided to say. Sorry, I'm having to jump tabs a lot.
Because I got all these mixed race and minority girlfriends. I must be the worst piece of shit that ever walked there, right? Yeah, I mean, you heard it yourself, right? If you have a black girlfriend, and I'm assuming an Asian girlfriend too, and Latino, then you're a racist prick. I mean, you just heard it yourself. There's no, I didn't alter what they said in any way, shape, or form. You heard it.
Blue, mutt, as in mixed breed. That's something that I've always considered myself.
Right out of their own damn mouths. And you wonder why there's a problem in the black community. Seriously, maybe if you'd stop going around calling everybody a racist prick, maybe there wouldn't be a problem in the black community. Wow, what a concept! What a concept that is. Hey, don't go around calling people racist pricks, especially when they ain't done shit to you. Then maybe you wouldn't be getting problems, right? I mean, black. I'll get all these problems. I get all these problems. Well, maybe it's because you're running around calling everybody a racist prick. Maybe y'all not do that shit no more. Maybe the reason you're being oppressed and harassed, or whatever the fuck excuse you got, because it is an excuse. You can change your ways, you just don't choose to. But the point is that whatever excuse you may be floating today, it could possibly be because you're running around calling everybody a fucking piece of shit racist. Don't do that shit. Don't be running around calling people racist that ain't never done shit to you. Don't do that. And if you don't do that, then maybe you won't have all this oppression that you keep claiming that you have. Another thing too, let's be clear, folks. The only people that I know of that are keeping this racist bullshit going is a handful of black folk. That's it. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and Louis Farrakhan. Those are the people that keep this racist bullshit going. They're the only ones. I don't say, show me some major white leader that is out there spewing racist rhetoric. Go ahead. Can't find.
Okay. So, major white leader that's out there spewing racist rhetoric. I don't know exactly what context you meant that in, Vaughn. So we're going to go ahead and touch that on both sides. Okay. Crowder is a fucking racist. Okay. He spews racist rhetoric all day long. He did that with the George Floyd bullshit just a little while, or just a few days ago. Okay. Alex Jones, fucking racist. Okay. Trump, racist. Okay. These are the ones that are spewing the racist rhetoric that you claim doesn't exist. Now, if you're talking about somebody who's actually talking about racist rights, as in, bringing attention to it, you might actually be surprised to see another one. Let's see here. And oh yeah, I even went to the one that you might actually respect, because this guy is a conservative. Okay, if you see down here at the timeline, let me go ahead and get that on screen. Okay, if you see down here, this is Senator Bob Dole when he accepted his presidential campaign.
The Republican Party is broad and inclusive. It represents, the Republican Party is broad and inclusive. It represents many streams of opinion and many points of view. But if there's anyone who has mistakenly attached himself to our party in the belief that we are not open to citizens of every race and religion, then let me remind you, tonight this hall belongs to the party of Lincoln, and the exits, which are clearly marked, are for you to walk out of as I stand this ground without compromise.
As I stand this ground without compromise. You know, I've got to give it to Dole. He was, you know, he was a conservative. I don't really respect a lot of his policies. But that right there was basically saying, if you're a Republican and you're a racist, get the fuck out of here. And that right there, I've got to respect the man for that. So anyways, let's go ahead and get back into this, because I'm pretty sure... Just a little bit longer.
It's always black folk. It's always black folk that are pushing this Civil War racist bullshit.
Yep, obviously it's not.
And it's based on a fucking lie. That's the bitch of it. It's based on a total fucking lie. But you keep promoting it and promoting it.
No, see, Vaughn, that's the problem right there. This is not based on a lie. This is based on something that you have deluded yourself into thinking. Okay? Nobody, and I mean nobody, but you, thinks this way. Okay? Even your little girl Butterfly has when confronted about it, flat out said that you were wrong. Okay, she's danced around it and tried to defend you, but when we get her in a direct corner to where she's got no choice but to answer the question, she says you're flat out wrong. Hey, Allie, how we doing? And Vaughn, I'm going to tell you right now, because the email that I sent you earlier, you'll notice I do have some mods in my chat. I have told them specifically many times that they are not to block anybody unless they're spammers. Okay, you will not be put in timeout. You will not be blocked. I will send you the damn link if you want to come in here. It's not going to be a safe room though, or a safe space. So from there, we are going to go ahead and let's go ahead and finish up. This about another minute here.
Promoting. And then you wonder why you get oppressed. You wonder why people are wondering what your problem is. Really? How about we stop? How about we start changing things by not running around calling people racist pricks? Just a thought. It's just an idea, you know. Don't you?
Might be a good idea to, you know, stop being a racist prick, and then you won't get called out for it.
The messenger. I'm just saying, you know. But yeah, man, I tell you what, with all the minority girlfriends I've had, I'm at the apex, man. I am the worst motherfucking racist piece of shit ever walked the planet, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. All right, but anyway, short and sweet. I just wanted to let you all know that I'm a racist piece of shit, and you know, so now you know. And as we always say,
we already know
the
that.
old G.I. Joe cartoons, knowing is half the battle. So y'all have a pleasant day and better tomorrow. Bye.
Oop, I don't know what the hell happened there. Okay. Now, so for fun, I went ahead and grabbed another one that about a year ago, before Vaughn came up with his weird, you know, slave owners were black thing. It's kind of fun, and I'm going to have to, you know, screen share a couple of things. So give me just a second here. Okay, so I went ahead and skipped past as much of this as I could. So, there we go. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and get back into it. There we go. Okay, so this is Vaughn, believe it was, July 2020. So this was about 4 months before he started making that claim about the you know, the Southern slave owners being black. There we go. Yeah. I'm sure you guys have seen this particular image before. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let him try to explain this, and then I'm going to actually show you, because I did track down this video that he's referencing.
Sometimes things just fall naturally into your lap, as ordered of the gods, and it just kind of falls into your lap, and you know, people have been running around. The founding fathers had slaves. The founding fathers had slaves, and I kept telling them, no, they had indentured servants. Slaves are never set free. Slaves are always slaves. If I die and I have a slave, that slave is passed on to my heirs or it's sold to someone else. You are never free if you're a slave. Okay? That's why the Emancipation Proclamation had to happen, is because real slaves could not be set free other than an act of Congress or whatever. Okay? Indentured servants, by contrast, are set free on a multitude of reasons. Death by their master. If the master dies, they're set free. If they pay their debt, if they pay their debt to society, they're set free. If they work out a bargain of some kind, they're set free. Okay, but real slaves are never set free, and that's the distinction that
I'm going to go ahead and speed
get,
this up because he talks so damn
hear
slow.
it. Number one, they don't want to hear it. Founders had slaves, and by God, that's it. Well, no, that's not it, because a slave is never set free. When George Washington died, what happened to his slaves? Oh, they all got set free. When Jefferson died, what happened to his slaves? Oh, they all got set free.
I want to double check that. Let's see here. What happened to... What happened to Washington's slaves when he died? In his will, written several months before his death in 1799, George Washington left directions for the emancipation of all slaves that he owned after the death of Martha Washington. After the death of Martha Washington. So his slaves were set free when his wife died. Upon her death, the slaves would revert to the Cutius estate and be divided among her grandchildren. Wow, so Vaughn, you are a lying piece of shit. How about that? And then let's just go ahead and jump right over here, since I've got that already typed in. Let's go Jefferson. No known records document the departure of other slaves without pursuit. Additionally, some enslaved individuals successfully escaped from Monticello's despite pursuit. About 200 individuals were sold at estate sales after Jefferson's death. Some of those sold from Monticello eventually acquired freedom. So some of Jefferson's slaves were freed eventually. But over 200 of them were sold. I'm going to go ahead and share that real quick because I like my receipts, and a Google search isn't that hard to do. So share. Okay. This one is Jefferson's. Look at that. I'm going to go ahead and show you right there. I mean, it's the kind of shit that, it's the kind of shit that you can, when it's that easy to Google, you can just turn around and get, the fact check right there off the side. And like I said, I can easily do the same with Washington slaves. Let's see here. Okay. And right there, mountvernon.org, in his will, written several months before his death in December 1799, he left directions for the emancipation of all the slaves he owned after the death of Martha Washington. Upon her death, the slaves would revert to the Cutius estate and be divided among her grandchildren. So let's go ahead and double check that, because I want to see exactly where Martha Washington. Neither George nor Martha Washington could free those dower slaves by law. Upon her death, the slaves would revert to the Cutius estate and be divided among her grandchildren. So by 1799, 153 slaves in Mount Vernon were part of this dower property. 40 more slaves were rented from a neighbor. While another man, Peter Hardman, was rented from the widow of Martha Washington's son. All of these people would eventually return to their owners. So, I mean, I'll go ahead and leave that up there. In accordance with state law, George Washington stipulated that in his will that elderly slaves or those who were too sick to work were to be supported throughout their lives by this estate. Children without parents or those with family were unable to see their education unable to see to their education, were to be bound out to the masters and mistresses who would be willing to, who would teach them reading, writing, and a useful trade, until they were ultimately freed by the age of 25. Washington's will stated that he took these charges to his executors very seriously, and I do moreover, most pointedly and most solemnly enjoin it upon my executors, to see that this clause respecting slaves and every part thereof be religiously fulfilled at the epoch at which it is directed to take place, without evasion, neglect, or delay, after their crops, which may then be on the ground, are harvested, particularly as it respects the aged and infirm. Martha Washington chose to free her late husband's slaves early. She may have feared for her safety in a situation where the freedom of so many depended on her death. In December of 1800, Martha Washington signed a deed of manumission for her deceased husband's slaves, a transaction that is recorded in the abstracts of the Fairfax County, Virginia court records. They would finally become free in January of 1801. Okay, so Washington's slaves did eventually go free. I will give him that one. But just looking at all of this right here, this is ridiculous. The amount of hoops that Washington and his wife both had to jump through just to free these slaves. Okay. I mean, it literally up here is, in accordance with state law, it is stipulated that his, basically they couldn't legally release their slaves. I mean, right here, there it is. I've missed a paragraph. Neither George nor Martha Washington could free these dour slaves by law. Okay. So, I mean, when you're talking about something like that, that's just ridiculous. Okay. That they had to jump through all of these legal loopholes. Now, when it came to Jefferson, I'm willing to just go ahead and take Google's word at face value there, when it just said there's literally just no evidence that any of their slaves went free. So again, Mr. Von Helton's not exactly the most honest person, or I guess it'd be his delusion in this case. But let's go ahead and continue his racist ignorance. Irrelevant. Real slaves follow their masters. So if their masters go to Europe, they follow them. Okay, sorry, I'm just catching up with the chat here. Indigo, if you're in here, yeah, I'll open up the room here in a minute if you want. Give me just a minute to prove my issue here with Vaughn, and then I'll let you come in here and say your piece. I am not that kind of a person to where if you're in here, I'll make sure you can say it. But let's see here, Blue. Yes, Von Helton says Jefferson did not own slaves. Yeah, we're getting to that because yeah. Now, what Vaughn's going to completely neglect to tell you, sorry, I didn't even have that added to the stream, did I? There we go.
We got to get you to hate the founding fathers, and the best way to do that is to convince you that they're slave owners. Now, I just happened to get this dropped in my lap. This guy is talking about the predecessor to the Constitution of the United States, which was called the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation had several presidents before President George Washington. Okay? It's kind of like the predecessor to the Constitution. But I stop it right here because I want you to hear what this man says. Because I'm sick and tired of people saying that these founding fathers were slave owners. I'm sick of it. So I want you to hear what this man says.
Okay. Now, anybody who can see this, the bald gentleman with the very luxuriant beard here, his name is Simon Whistler. Okay, he runs a channel called Top Tens. Sad for Vaughn to know that I spend more than just on our little corner of YouTube. I've been watching this guy for years. Luckily, he wears a different shirt in just about every one of his shows, so it was fairly easy for me to track down the actual show. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let him. Let Simon talk, let him spew his narrative, and then I'm going to show you the actual source of this because obviously he's got all his shit hidden.
Now let's go. Let's hear. Let's see what he says here.
Boudinot was also noteworthy for his era of advocating for the rights of both Native Americans and black people, as well as sponsoring various.
Now you did hear he said Boudinot. Okay, Boudinot was a Articles of Confederation president of Congress, not a president of the United States.
Youth among these groups so that they could receive an education.
What? Advocating for the rights of who? Advocating for the rights of who? Advocating for the rights of who? Let's hear that again. I want to hear that again.
I want to hear some Von Rage
Let's
again.
hear that again.
Boudinot was also noteworthy for his era of advocating for the rights of both Native Americans and black people, as well as sponsoring various youth among these groups so that they could receive an education.
Okay, so not only were they not slave owners, but they wanted to give black youth a goddamn education. They wanted to get them an education. Take your goddamn slavery and shove it up your motherfucking ass. I am so sick of you fuckers that hate this country and hate the founding fathers. I am sick of you. I'm sick up to here. And when you actually do some research on the Constitution of the United States, what do you find? You find that the Constitution is actually written so that it abolishes slavery. It's actually written that way. It's written to abolish slavery. Thomas Jefferson said slavery was abhorrent. Does anybody in the audience know what the word abhorrent means? Does anybody know? Anybody?
Distasteful, objectionable. Yes, I kind of know what abhorrent means.
Look it up. Look it up in a dictionary. Because you obviously don't know what it means. Let's hear this one more time. I got to hear this one more time. Because I am so sick. I am so sick of you assholes that hate this country and hate the founding fathers. I'm sick of you.
Boudinot was also noteworthy for his era of advocating for the rights of both Native Americans and black people, as well as sponsoring various youth among these groups so that they could receive an education.
All right. Now, unless you're a fucking dumbass, you understood what that man said, right? Okay, so this shit that the founding fathers had slaves is just that. It's bullshit. Now, that's not to say that after the founding fathers died, that the South started getting slaves and started purchasing slaves and started the whole slavery movement shit. That's not to say that it didn't happen. It's not to say that the South didn't have slaves. But the founding fathers did not. The founding fathers had indentured servants. And as you just heard, if you got ears to hear and eyes to see, you just heard that they were actually trying to give these people an education.
Yeah. Does anybody want to double check that? Or are we understanding that Vaughn contradicts himself? Like I said, this is July. He started his goofy shit in October. So do we want to, let him know that he's contradicted himself already right there? Because, he just admitted that the South owned slaves and everything like that. But yet he's trying this weird narrative in the beginning with our gentleman right here, Simon Whistler. This is all I need off of this. So I'm going to stop that. And just to show proof, I will go ahead and show you the actual. There it is. This is Simon Whistler. He runs actually apparently 2 channels. This one happens to have been on Today I Found Out. And let me go ahead and see if I have that timestamp for a reason.
Of the British Empire. Besides becoming president, Boudinot was also noteworthy for his era of advocating for the rights of both Native Americans and black people, as well as sponsoring various youth among these groups so that they could receive an education. Number 3 on this list was Thomas Mifflin, who became the president for the term of 1783 until...
Okay. So, again, not taken out of context at the same time, just wildly misunderstood. And I find it funny. It's hilarious that when Vaughn sees something that, whether it's a headline or somebody saying something, he's going to take it in whatever way makes him feel better. So the thing that, yeah, this is on Today I Found Out. Okay, the thing about that is, though, is especially with Simon, he gives you the, you know, this is a fact you didn't know, and I'm not criticizing him for that, but there's more in-depth stuff about that, regardless of whatever comes on. So you have Boudinot as president, but the Articles of Confederation did not actually separate the states. Okay, in the actual Bill of Rights, or the in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, it's basically lines out that the president is the president of, essentially the overall president of the states themselves. Okay, in the Articles of Confederation, the president was the president of the Congress. Okay, he really didn't have a whole lot in charge to do with it. Essentially, the contemporary equivalent would be like Speaker of the House. Okay, so again, they were trying to take charge, but they weren't the founding fathers. The founding fathers were the people that wrote the Declaration of Independence, and the people that were involved in the country from the start. Okay, so again, I find it hilarious that Vaughn, you know, Mr. Rage Out over here, thinks that he can't be wrong when he is clearly incredibly wrong. So let me go ahead and get rid of a couple of those tabs, and let's go ahead and jump that back up, because he says a couple of other things.
And black folk.
Okay.
Now, if you have two brain cells to rub together, you understand this. Otherwise, you're an idiot, right? You just are. You're an idiot. Or you have an agenda. And the agenda is to get people to hate this country, and by extension, to hate the founding fathers of this great nation. Say it with me, class. The founding fathers did not have slaves. They had indentured servants. And here we see where even the predecessors to the Constitution were giving black folk an education. So take your slavery and shove it right up your motherfucking ass. Now, that's not to say that after all the founders had passed away, which was like, I don't know, late 1700s, early 1800s, that slavery didn't come to be in this country. It did, much to our discredit. However, that's not to say that the founding fathers had slaves, because they did not. They did not.
Yeah, Vaughn, they did. I mean, we just had an article, or we just went through an article of showing, you know, the legal issues that the Washingtons were facing trying to free their slaves. They had slaves.
Hell, there's even a rumor that Jefferson married and had sex with a black woman and might have even had children by her. But we can't bring that up. Oh, no, because we got to paint Jefferson as a racist. We got to paint Washington as a racist. We got to paint all these people as a racist. Right now, as I speak, they're wanting to blow up Mount Rushmore, folks. Right now, as I speak, they're wanting to blow up Mount Rushmore. Why? Because this lie that's perpetrated by the media, hello, major media, and by certain groups, that the founding fathers were slave owners. And these dunderheads, without doing any fucking research whatsoever, they want to believe it. They want to believe that stuff. And it's not true. It's never been true. It never will be true.
Yep.
It's one thing to disagree with the founding fathers on certain principles. It's quite another to accuse them of flat-out slavery when they absolutely hated it. They absolutely hated it. Oh.
Okay. Sorry.
What was I think it wasn't it? I think it was Hamilton mentioned something about you know, you can't you know, the enslavement of a man is evil or something, or maybe even against the Bible. You got to understand, a lot of people read the Bible back then. So I don't know, man. I just, you know, but I get so furious. I get so incensed.
That was an interesting little sequitur there. Okay. So obviously, Vaughn, I'm sorry, but you're a racist. Your options here are to either kind of dip out or admit you were wrong. I mean, you could easily do that. I mean, I don't know if your narcissism would allow you to do it, but that is a possibility. You could just admit you were wrong. But the only other option here is you're literally going to have to cut out all of the little safe space that you've tried to cut out for yourself here on YouTube, and go run back over to BitChute. Because with all the crap that you've been spewing the last few days, with all the crap that you've been spewing the last 4 weeks now about slavery, about racial inequalities and stuff like that, okay, you're going to get the attention that you don't want. So it's best for you at this point in time to take the L and admit you were wrong. But anyways, that's all I really wanted to say about Vaughn. Now, I did invite Indigo in here if she wants to come in here and defend herself. I wasn't even aware she knew my channel existed, but here you go. Indigo, you're more than welcome to come on. I'll give you a few minutes. Mothra, yes, he also did say that just recently, didn't he? Yeah. He even claimed that George Floyd had barbiturates in his system, when I think the actual claim was that he had fentanyl in his system. So, I mean, he couldn't even get the drug right. How you doing, Indigo?
Hey, is it okay if I turn the camera off?
Yeah, you can turn the camera off if you need to.
Yeah. Hold on a second. It's just my hair's crazy right now. So. But okay. What I wanted to say and what I wanted to clarify is that I do not agree with everything Vaughn says. Now, Vaughn, when I first started coming on here and saying stuff that was going on with people that was making the parody videos and all that other stuff or whatever, and I was under the impression that people had called the police or whatever from YouTube, and that's why his kids were taken away and stuff like that. Now I hear different stories and all this other stuff about what's going on with that. I was at the point where I wasn't sure what to believe. Now, besides that stuff, the stuff where he goes into the conspiracies, if you actually watch, like when we're talking and I'm talking to him, I am a spiritual person, so that there are some things that I do believe in that I know are not, that atheists probably wouldn't believe in. I try to look at things rationally at the same time, which is why I don't profess to be a Christian or Jewish or pagan or whatever, because my spiritual experiences could just be a form of psychosis, and I understand that too. So that's why I'm kind of like stuck in a limbo with that type of belief system. So that's one thing. The other thing, the main thing right here with the racism thing and all this other stuff, I'm part of another community. It's not just this one. When I first came on YouTube, my other YouTube channel is part of a community where we talk about Black issues. And I learned a lesson, especially speaking to my aunt who seen these videos when I was speaking to Vaughn about this stuff, where she told me you should not be talking to a white guy about this, where this white guy is agreeing with you and saying the stuff that Vaughn's saying. And I went back and I looked at those videos. I'm the type of person, I don't like watching myself. I have this thing that's weird. I don't watch myself online. But I went back and I watched these videos. And now I can see that through the optics of, everything, that don't look right. It don't look right. And it does make me look like a racist. And especially the stuff that Vaughn's saying. And now, for everybody to know, I have told Vaughn multiple times before behind the scenes that he shouldn't talk about certain issues, but he keeps bringing it up. So I told him this time recently, that you bring it up again, since he brought it up and he said he was going to bring it up, I'm not coming back on your show because it don't look right. And I thought we had that understanding, and apparently he's just going to do what he wants to do, and I don't want any part of that.
Okay, so you're now disassociating with Vaughn because he's deciding that this racism thing is his hill to die on.
Yeah. And not only that, but the whole thing with the slavery thing, I've actually said on his own channel, in his own videos, twice, when we did live streams, I was like, Vaughn, and I will quote you, I was like, Vaughn, I think you misread the book. You didn't even read the title of the book that you were looking at. It was talking about slaves in North Carolina, not slave owners in North Carolina, not slave owners throughout the U.S. And he completely went way over that and just ignored what I said. So I didn't know what to say after that. I'm
Getting a question here is when did you say this to Vaughn? Is it was this something after a hangout, or?
It was during his hangout, his own hangout.
It was actually during a live stream.
It was during a live stream. I mentioned it twice. And I don't know why people missed that part. I did mention that. He kind of did cut me off before I could finish, but that is what I told him. And I was like, Vaughn, you didn't read the thing or whatever. And he was like, oh, well, and then started continuing on his point. I mean, I'm really frustrated to this point. And like I said in the comment section before, I thought that I could try to help him out with some things, especially talking to him behind the scenes. But I don't think, I think that like some people say, when people get a certain age, there's nothing you can do to help them. If they got a certain mindset, you just can't. And I give up. It's frustrating to me. It's stressful. These supposed to be fun hangouts, and then he turns them into the stressful topic that I don't feel comfortable really talking about sometimes. I do have my certain views and my certain points, but that's not the proper place to talk about this, especially with a person that has a certain history, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay, so another question here is this essentially a public apology, or?
Yeah, it's a public apology, and I do apologize to everybody for especially how things look. I'm not that type of person. I went through some things in the inner city, and yes, I do have certain feelings about and beliefs about some things, but I think that this platform, even this channel is not the channel that I speak about this. I speak about this on my other channel, because the other channel is more, I have more followers and people that I talk to from the Black community. And I think that it's more proper to speak about these topics with the Black community and not with a person who, especially like Vaughn, in this community. I don't think it's the right place to have these topics spoken about. My aunt definitely, grilled me about what I said and made me go back and look at the videos, and it don't look right. And I see what everybody means now.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know, because I mean, mine is a smaller channel, but I mean, I see Alan Reyes, I see Yato, I see Mothra, I see Lady Starfire in the chat right now. This is going to get back to Miss Parker and Drag and Drees and and everyone else.
I don't mind. I don't care.
Okay. I'm just letting you know.
It just needs to be. I want to definitely clear my name and definitely let people know I will not be going back on Vaughn's channel ever again. That's not happening again.
Okay, so I mean, I've got April 21st at 11:45 p.m. That's all I can say is that we'll have to judge that. But I mean, the only real complaint I had, because I don't really watch a whole lot of you, but the only real complaint I had about your argument on the slavery issue was the one drop rule. And the just bringing that up was enough for Vaughn to think he was being validated when the people that
That's
would have
not
been
what I was saying at all. Vaughn took that and ran with it.
Okay, but see, the problem is that one drop rule, those people that would have been classified as black would have been in that PDF of his, because that's the way that would have worked. So you've got the 3,700 or so black slave owners that also included the partially black slave owners versus the 397,000 slave owners, and Vaughn still thought the number was over 90%. I mean, it's
like, and he completely missed. Like, that's not even what I was trying to say. I even had taken it back because I didn't even realize what he had said at first, and then when he kept continuing to speak, and I realized what he said, I actually did. I was like, Vaughn, that's not really what I meant. And then he starts talking and cutting me off and everything. I'm just sitting there and I'm just like just shaking my head, like I don't even know what to say. Most of the time I sit down there and I wait for him to try to go to another topic, hopefully, that we could talk about. But it's frustrating. I had a freaking headache, like even just like that one day when I was trying to correct him about what was going on. Or actually not what was going on, but what I was actually trying to convey to him, and I was trying to let him know that he got some things wrong that I was trying to explain to him. But I think he's the type of person that once he gets something in his head and he thinks he's right or knows he's right, you could tell him something. You could tell him, he could say the sky is purple. You tell him the sky is blue, and he'll still say it's purple somehow, some way. And it's frustrating.
Okay, well, I'll let you say your piece. I was only intended to run about 45 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and have to drop this stream.
Okay.
But I will be getting back on here in about a half hour. I've got to just run upstairs and check on a few things. I've got a response video for our other lovely friend, because he was really wrong last night, and I'm going to have to explain that one slowly so he'll understand me.
Yeah, if it's G-Man, no, man, that right there like pissed me off. How he tried to lump atheists and everybody in like one category, and like, it was that this is why I'm trying really hard.
Well, that's my issue. I'm keeping them separated for a reason, because Vaughn, I don't generally attack people. I attack their arguments. So I'm done with Vaughn. I'm just proving that he's more racist. I'm going to go ahead and stop for a little bit, take a break. I'm going to go up and have a cigarette, and then I'm going to get on G-Man. So if you want to stick around, I can easily talk with you when I get back. But I do need to hop off for a minute.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say bye to you. Go ahead and say goodbye to everyone, and I'll drop you, and then I can finish my thing real quick.
All right.
Say bye to everyone, or are you just gonna?
Oh, sorry. My audio went out. Bye, everyone. I hope everyone, understood what I was trying to convey tonight. Have a good night. Stay safe.
Okay. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and dip for just a little bit. I've got another stream coming up with plans on tackling another one of G-Man's horrendously stupid arguments. So I will catch you guys here in a little while. And yeah, I don't have much of an exit tonight. So you guys have a good one.